You are listening to Housekeepers Chat by the United States Department of Agriculture from 1927. Disclaimer: this is read from a historic archive document. Do not assume content reflects current scientific knowledge, policies, or practices. This broadcast was aired on Wednesday, the 11th of May in 1927.
Graduation frocks, refinishing furniture, waxing floors, and a new recipe for chocolate icebox cake today. Information approved by the United States Bureau of Home Economics.
The merry month of May brings forth a smiling group of sweet girl graduates clad in alluring frocks of white and dainty pastel colors. For the girl who does not want the rainbow hues, there are the rich sunset colors: rose, orchid, honeydew, tangerine. Even the names are alluring. In many communities, there is an unwritten law that the girl graduates must be clad in white. If white is worn for the commencement exercises, there is usually another special frock in color for the social events which precede commencement day. Cotton fabrics seem to be the most appropriate and the most popular for the graduation dress. In many of the high schools where the girls make their own dresses, cotton fabrics are required so that the girls' taste is directed toward simple things. Department stores are showing tempting displays of white cotton fabrics this month. If the sweet girl graduate is a decidedly feminine young thing with a penchant for fluttering ruffles, she will likely select a crisp organdie, a soft voile or batiste, or a dotted Swiss. If she is a stately, dignified type, she may want an elegant graduation frock of point d'esprit and plain net. Then there are some new fabrics which will make pretty frocks for the high school girl: thin rayon or rayon and cotton union fabrics. Dresses made from any of these materials will serve for a party dress the rest of the summer. If white is not desired as a party dress, the white frock may change its color after commencement day. Substitute a colored slip for the white one. Add a colored sash and perhaps a flower for the shoulder. It might be well to plan the dress with this change in mind. There's one type of girl who somehow seems left out at graduation time. She's the outdoor girl, the athletic young person who would rather play a game of tennis than sip a chocolate soda. She can't be bothered with ruffles. She wants a frock which can be worn the rest of the summer on the beach or for games. The newest revival in cottons for sportswear is a wide-wailed peak, which is shown in the most exclusive New York shops. Other fabrics being used are broadcloth, cotton suiting, cotton crepe, poplin, madras, gabardine, or galatea. Any of these fabrics are charming, made up in either one or two-piece styles, with or without sleeves, and with fullness introduced into the skirt by means of 2 or 3 large pleats. I'd like to talk longer about summer dresses, but there are a few questions to be answered before we come to the recipe for chocolate icebox cake. I must tell you something about this icebox cake. The recipe specialist in the Bureau of Home Economics tested a number of recipes which were sent in to her, but none of them came up to her standards of cake making. Therefore, she made her own recipe, which I shall give you in just a few minutes. The first question is from a listener who seeks advice on refinishing an old walnut table. First, if the table has been varnished, remove the varnish. Do this with fine sandpaper or with a liquid varnish remover. Most of these liquid varnish removers are inflammable, so be careful not to work in a room where there is a fire or a lighted lamp or anything of this sort. After the varnish is removed, rub the table with fine sandpaper or with mineral wool. Rub until the wood is smooth and free from varnish and in good condition. When the wood is smooth, give it a coat of linseed oil and turpentine, using about 2 parts of linseed oil to 1 of turpentine. Rub this in thoroughly and allow it to stand for several days. A piece of woolen cloth is convenient in applying the oil and turpentine mixture. After 2 or 3 days, rub the surface of the table with a fresh woolen cloth. Then give the table a coat of wax polish. You can buy a wax polish or make one at home. After a time, give the table a second coat, and in 2 or 3 weeks, still another coat. Apply the wax polish in very thin coats and rub it down with a soft cloth for as long a time as possible. It is the rubbing and the use of a little wax at a time that develops the fine finish. Question number 2. Is waxing a practical finish for a hardwood floor? Waxing is considered by many the most attractive and practical finish for hardwood floors. It preserves the natural color of the wood, brings out the natural beauty of the wood, and is easily revived and renewed. If waxed floors are given the proper care, they will improve with age, even under hard usage. In some of the European palaces, for instance, floors that have been polished for centuries with nothing but wax are still bright and beautiful, although now worn thin by use. There are 2 objections to waxed floors. One is the amount of work required to polish the floor, and the other is the fact that water turns the finish white. However, these water spots can be quickly removed by rubbing on a little wax with a woolen cloth or a weighted brush. Floor wax may be bought ready mixed or made at home. If you like, I can send you directions for making floor wax and also for applying the wax to the floor. Send for Farmer's Bulletin number 1219, called Floors and Floor Coverings, if you have either new or old floors to finish this spring. Question number 3. Please tell me how to care for leather furniture. Leather furniture coverings look better and last longer if they're rubbed occasionally with castor oil. The use of castor oil or a commercial leather polish restores to the leather the oil that gradually dries out. The liquid should be well rubbed in and any excess wiped off the surface. Otherwise, this film of oil will collect and hold dirt, which will darken the leather and soil whatever touches it. Now we're ready for the icebox cake, a springtime dessert which should be served when eggs are plentiful, for it requires 8 of them. One of the chief virtues of this cake is that it can be made the day before. Then, at the last minute, all one has to do is whip a little cream, and there's a delicious dessert all ready to be served. It would be nice for a children's party, too, for this icebox cake is really just sponge cake and custard, flavored with chocolate. Pencils, please, for the recipe for chocolate icebox cake. I'll give you the chocolate mixture first, and then the sponge cake. 7 ingredients for the chocolate mixture: 1 pint milk, 1/2 cake chocolate or a 1/4 pound chocolate, 3/4 cup sugar, 4 eggs, 1/4 cup butter, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon vanilla. 7 ingredients: 1 pint milk, 1/2 cake chocolate or a 1/4 pound chocolate, 3/4 cup sugar, 4 eggs, 1/4 cup butter, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon vanilla. Melt the chocolate in a double boiler. Add the sugar, salt, and milk. Mix well. Separate the eggs, and when the milk is hot, pour the mixture into the lightly beaten yolks. Cook until thickened, stirring constantly. Add the butter, beat until well mixed, and fold this custard mixture into the stiffly beaten whites of the eggs. Stir in the vanilla. Chill before pouring over the sponge cake. Now the sponge cake. 7 ingredients for that too. 4 eggs, 1 cup sugar, 1 cup flour, 3 tablespoons cold water, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon vanilla, 1/2 teaspoon lemon juice. Let's check the 7 ingredients. 4 eggs, 1 cup sugar, 1 cup flour, 3 tablespoons cold water, 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1/2 teaspoon vanilla, 1/2 teaspoon lemon juice. Separate the egg yolks from the whites and beat the yolks well. Gradually beat in the sugar using a Dover egg beater. Add the water and continue the beating until the mixture is very thick and light. Sift the dry ingredients together and then fold them into the egg and sugar mixture. Then fold in the stiffly beaten whites of the eggs and add the flavoring. Grease a tube pan slightly, pour in the cake batter, and bake from 45 to 50 minutes in a moderate oven at a temperature of 325 degrees Fahrenheit. When the cake is cool, split it into 3 sections, beginning at the top. Place the bottom section of the cake in the tube pan and pour over it 1/2 of the chocolate mixture. Then put the next section in place and pour in the remainder of the chocolate. Cover with the top layer. Set the cake in the icebox overnight or for several hours. When ready to serve, turn onto a platter and sprinkle with powdered sugar or fill the center with whipped cream or cover with chocolate icing. That's the recipe, and I hope you will have good luck when you try it.
This broadcast was researched and produced by Breakaway Empire LLC.